Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SHAG Week podcast, hosted by me, Poppy Coates, your Women's Student Community Officer for this academic year. Today's episode is titled Freshers, Unzipped, and we'll focus on all things freshers, from moving to university, STIs, the culture of university, etc. I'm joined today by the incredible Bana, VP Societies and Sports, and Hanani, who is an advisor at the Advice Centre. So did you want to introduce yourselves, say a little bit about yourselves?
Hi all, I'm Bana and I'm currently still a student at Royal Holloway, but I'm on sabbatical. So I'm your Vice President of Societies and Sports, and on day-to-day basis, I oversee the operations of Societies and Sports.
Perfect.
And hi, I'm Hanani. I'm one of the advisors at the Advice Centre. So we give academic, housing and wellbeing advice, and we have loads of freebies, including condoms and STI kits. So come get them.
That was a good little promo. I love that. Okay, so to start with some statistics. So young people within the age bracket of 15 to 24 remain the age group most likely to be diagnosed with an STI, and freshers so fall within that group. What are our thoughts on this, and how do we think we could help reduce the statistic?
Should I hear that?
Go for it.
So my thoughts on this is, first of all, we're young.
Yeah.
People want to live life to the fullest. So I think a main factor that contributes to that is like one-night stands.
Yeah.
People don't take relationships as seriously. So
Yeah.
they go out, they do it, they leave the more than
and it's a lot. It might be a lot of people's first experience with sex and sexual relations as well. So
they don't really know. Maybe they get a rash and they don't know what it is.
Yes.
They don't know that this is an STI.
Yes.
Go on around and around. And spreading that even more. So I think that's a lack of education, and just people want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's also like STIs are the sexy part of sex. So like you kind of have this culture of shame around STIs. So you almost like don't want to go get tested because you don't want to know. And then you end up not having those conversations with people that you are sexually active with. And then it spreads and spreads and spreads.
Yeah. Just while we've mentioned having conversations, I wonder if you have any thoughts or like top tips, I guess, on like how to maybe open up that conversation with a person you're having sexual relations with. Because as you've said, it's not an easy kind of conversation to have, but it's one you should have if you have concerns about, a one-night stand, or, if you've noticed a change in your own body. So is there a way that we could potentially make these conversations easier, do you think? And how would we go about that?
I think maybe if we start with the sex education itself, because it comes like at STIs in such a shameful way, like you're gonna get that if you don't do that. Maybe breaking the stigma that it's okay to get an STI, it happens. Like in the end, you get a flu, that's something similar, in some sort of way to an STI.
Yeah.
So if you break the stigma, then people are more open to talk about it.
Yeah. And I think it's like it is so common, like you said. Like I think I read somewhere that every 4 minutes, someone is diagnosed with an STI.
Yeah.
So kind of given that is almost like saying to someone, oh, I've got a cold. If you've got a cold, you tell someone. So in the same way, it's just being open and honest that you have it and this is what you're going to do about it.
I mean, it's all microbiology.
Yeah.
So whether it's your lungs that are infected or your...
Yeah. So with this kind of high statistic and us being in this kind of likely group, how can we be safe at university, and how can we practice safe sex? I don't know whether you wanted to bring in any resources that
I would say the Advice Centre.
The Advice Centre is a good place to start.
Also with like the cost of living, people are not going to go buy condoms.
Yeah.
Any sanitary products. So the fact that us as Royal Holloway Students' Union offer those for free for students, I think that is a great step towards, encouraging people to have sex safely.
Yes.
So you can get free condoms at the Advice Centre, and you can also get free STI kits at the Advice Centre, and I believe you can get them at the shop as well. And they are all, free for you to come grab. You don't necessarily even need to speak to anyone about it. You can just come grab them off our table or on our shelf. But there is also the C card scheme, which if you look online, you just register for one, and then you can get condoms delivered for you or collect them at locations where you can collect them. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that, the Advice Centre has both condoms, because a previous episode we've discussed about how, condoms are the only one protecting against STIs, where other contraception is primarily prevented pregnancies. But you've got prevention methods, and then you've got STI kits in case, someone is concerned, that's a confidential way that they can come in and take that, which is a good service. Finally, I wanted to discuss a little bit about consent and how that can come into safe sex, because obviously, safe sex isn't just about preventing pregnancy or STI. It's about feeling comfortable and everyone being, a willing and active participant in the matter. So I wondered if you wanted to speak a bit to that.
I feel like a big part with coming in as freshers, there are some of us that are experienced and some of us that it's like their first time, and they might feel pressured to take a big step and do it with a person they might not feel comfortable with. And in my opinion, that is non-consensual sex, because you are not comfortable. That person, maybe they're initiating it, and that's why you're going ahead with it. So just know that it's okay to say, no, I'm not ready. Or maybe let's wait. Or maybe let's do it step by step.
Yeah.
Let's do something before that.
Yeah.
So I think that is a main part of getting at it in terms of like consent. Because people may not know, like, if I feel uncomfortable, but I'm still consenting to it, that's okay. No, that is not okay.
Yeah.
So I think that is my take on that.
Yeah. And I think you should talk about it. You should always be having this like open line of communication, because even if you are initiating some sort of sexual activity, you can always say no later on and at any point, and then that's you taking back consent. And, also just providing positive feedback when you're enjoying something or if you're not enjoying something. It's just really important to actually communicate these things, and it can feel a little awkward and uncomfortable, but it's so important for your own experience and for their experience as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's an overarching theme in a lot of these topics, that kind of, as long as communication is there and it's honest and open, I feel like that's a definite good starting point for kind of resolving a lot of these issues. Any other thoughts? Any other, I don't know, particularly in relation to sports and societies, whether you had anything related to freshers in any sense?
I mean, not yet. We're only 3 weeks into the term.
Yeah.
But you do kind of see, like, when you go on a night out, you do kind of see, like, the freshers. They're quite, young. They're beautiful. They're so cute. Yeah, little babies. I can't believe they look that young. And they're going out, and sometimes you do see people are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I just want to say it's okay to say no. Like, don't feel pressured.
Yeah, because I feel like there's sometimes potentially a bit of a kind of culture, like university culture, around these kind of drinking and consent and safe sex and sex practice.
In my first year, we had like a challenge of who had sex with them.
Yeah.
So I think that is just part of the freshers' experience.
Yes. Yeah.
But at the same time, just know if you're not comfortable, it is okay to say.
Yeah. If you're not having those experiences, that's perfectly fine as well. And if you're having loads of those experiences,
it's fine. But
come grab condoms, come grab an STI kit.
Yeah. But it's not like people are missing out if they don't partake in these. Like, university as a whole spectrum of society, sports, academics, like, this does not need to be a main part of the university experience, though it so often is. Any closing statements before we finish? Any final words of wisdom to summarize the nature of being a fresher?
I think maybe the most important thing is go out, have your fun, but have it while being safe.
Yeah, I completely agree. Safety is key.
Yeah, I agree with Bana.
Thank you, Hanani.
Well, thank you both very much for joining me today. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Poppy.
Thank you.
Thank you.